What is up, guys? My name is Arman and you're watching my trading journal. Today is day 5 of the FTMO challenge, and I have to say today was a bit of a disaster. Didn't have the right mindset at all for taking trades, and you will see further on in the video when I explain my trades why everything was going so bad. The only good news is that I got a haircut finally, so I don't have to hide my crow's nest that I was growing under a hat anymore. The problem with today's trades were that I was getting too emotionally involved in my trades, and I was not able to patiently wait it out and see the outcomes. And I was also taking one of the trades that I took, which was a complete loss. I took it in a completely unplanned manner. I mean, I had an entry set, but I had set the entry without a confirmation, so that was just a recipe for a disaster, which is what ended up happening. The thing about trading is that whenever you get into a trade or you plan to take up a trade, you are essentially saying that you are willing to risk X amount of money to see the outcome of this trade. Now, the X amount of money is hitting your stop loss. So if you hit your stop loss, it means that it didn't work out and you spent the money to find out that the trade didn't work out. However, if the trade does work out, you are rewarded in turn. And it seems that today was not one of those days that I was ready to spend the money to find out. And today I'm going to give you a little example of how you were supposed to behave when a trade happens, and as opposed to that, how I have been behaving when trades end up happening, so that you can see like what the problems are and what you should avoid and how you should be behaving. Perfect. My trade has reached my entry point. Let's get in, and I think I'm willing to risk 1% of my account to see if this trade works out. Let's do it. Now that the trade is set, we just let it play out, and I continue on. Perfect. The trade has hit the full take profit. My trade is coming to its entry point. Let's see, I hope this works out. I mean, I'll put this as my stop loss and I'll put this at the entry, and then let's just hope it works out. Okay, let's go. It's going the wrong way. No, it's going the wrong way. Come on. Just go up. Okay, at this point I think like it's getting too much. If it reaches my break even, I think I should just close it. Okay, it's reaching break even. Come on. Oh no, it's going back in loss. Come on, just go up a little bit more and I'll just close you out. Come on. Okay, yeah, it's in break even. Let me close it quickly before it goes in loss again.
A few moments later.
Oh no, I should have stayed in the trade. It went and hit the full take profit, the price. Now that you guys have seen how you should be behaving and how you should not be behaving while in a trade, let's go ahead and assess today's trades. My second trade of the day was NZDCAD. In this trade, what I noticed was that actually this trade was going off from what happened yesterday. So yesterday I had sort of missed this move up. I got out at some point, and I noticed that it was staying around this area here, which is the 0.5 of the fib from a bigger move, and it had come down here to test the support that I had made out. And I saw if we go further back that this was a strong support area, and I assumed that again the mid line of the channel, this is the channel that we had made earlier, it was also testing the mid of that channel. So at this point I'm thinking that because this is the support, it's just gonna go up straight. And so I made this long position. I actually made it higher than the price was, thinking I would catch it on the way up. And this is what happened. So I caught it at this point and was assuming we would just keep going up to my take profit. However, I got stopped out right here. for some reason I think I was not able to have my full wrist size, so I wasn't able to do the full lot size for this trade, but it was okay. Then I let it play out a little longer, and what I noticed was that it was bouncing actually off the midline. So I was correct technically, but I just had the wrong entry and the wrong stop loss. So I made this, and what I did instead was that instead of making an entry for NZDCAD, like a genius, I made an entry for NZDUSD. And I get my alert that I'm into the trade at this point, and I'm like, okay, great, I'm in the trade. Later on, I go to check the situation of my trade, and I realize I never put the order for the correct pair. So I completely missed this move. I didn't want to miss any further opportunity on a retest, so I made a long position here, and I waited to get in. And at this point, I'm into the trade, and it's going alright, but something was up with my psyche at this point, and I'm getting very nervous about this trade, and I've already lost all confidence in what's going on here. And to get a better idea of how price action played out, I need to zoom into a higher time frame. And once we started getting into profit like this, yeah, it was around this area where I had kept my stop loss, and I believe it retested down a bit before shooting up. So I wasn't able to think properly anymore in this trade. My head wasn't in the right place. I started freaking out a bit because of all of this area of the loss that it was showing, even though there was almost nothing wrong with this trade, you know? Everything was going how it should have been. It was just retesting this line before shooting up. So I got out too early around this point, and if we play it out, you can see how it goes and hits my take profit, the full take profit. So there we have it. This was anticipated very well. I had the right entry set up. I had the right reasons to support the trend, the midway of the trend, and everything went the right way, and it hit the full take profit. But just because I wasn't able to handle the situation at some points properly, I ended up closing out too early. So my third, fourth, and fifth trade were all with the GBPUSD. The fourth trade shouldn't have actually happened. It was I tried to stop a trade, but I started one by mistake, and then I just immediately stopped it. So I had been noticing that for a long time GBPUSD has been bouncing off under this trend line, and today it just happened to test the line again, and we were at this point. Now at this point I'm sort of assuming that it would hit this and then break out, but obviously there's no way of knowing whether it would break out or it would, go back down as it has been for how many ever months it's been. So I let it play out a little bit here. At this point I get an alert from TradingView because I had made an alert that if it hits this line, let me know. So I got in, and I was like, if the price does come back down this much, it's probably just a fake out and will continue downwards. So I kept this position, and then I waited. As we can see, it basically just entered me and then went back up. So here's the mistake I made in this situation. I needed to wait to see if this was actually a fake out or if this bounce here was a retest. And as we can see, it was just a retest, and it stopped me out immediately. Actually, I hadn't kept any fixed stop loss. I was thinking of getting out at this point, and I'm still new to Forex and using MetaTrader 5, so I was using MetaTrader 5 on the computer, and I tried to close the position, but all I did was I sold another position. So instead of stopping me out here, where my loss would have been a little less, it just kept going, and I was in another short at the same time. So luckily, there was a slight pullback at that second where the second short I started closed in a little bit of profit, but then I went and closed my initial short at the full stop loss that I would have hitting this price. Now at this point I'm thinking, alright, it's broken out. Another thing I've noticed is that there are a few pairs that follow the same trend. I'll be talking about another trade that I'm taking in AUDUSD, and I was longing that for whatever purpose. You will see in that segment why I did what I did for that. And what I noticed was that GBPUSD and AUDUSD are sort of moving in the same direction. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm longing AUDUSD, and GBPUSD is clearly showing signs of a breakout. So this is what I initiated then, and I suppose at that point where the price is, I was entered in. And immediately we go up. I'm very excited that it's going the right way because of, you know, the breakout and everything. But then suddenly I noticed that it's coming back down. And at this point, again, my psyche isn't right today, so I'm panicking again. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to go straight into loss, and then maybe it will retest from here and it'll go back up. So you know what, let me just cut my loss at this point so that I don't, you know, at least I can go out with some money on this trade rather than nothing. And I set an alert here actually so that when it hits this I can catch the move up. Let's see how it plays out. So at this point I'm out, and yeah, it never came back to the break even, just kept going up slowly. So as you can see, again, my mindset wasn't in the right place. I wasn't able to hold the trade. I was panicking a lot, and I left with like nothing, whereas I could have, if I stuck around longer, I would have kept trailing my stop loss higher, so that even from here, if there was a small downward movement, I would have been out with, this is 2.24, okay, this would have been about at least 1.34 return. My first, 7th and 8th trade of the day were AUDUSD. So when I get on the charts, I noticed that from yesterday it kept going higher, and it came all the way down to the bottom of the channel. So I'm thinking this is the point where we head back up, because if I notice how things are going, is that we had a high, a low, and a higher high, and this here should be the lower low. So I set this long up, and I wait to come back for the retest to get into the trade. And at this point, I'm in. Now I'm just waiting. So here we have some hesitation because this is the 0.382 of a fib movement, and we're not able to break this because this is a strong resistance point. But I'm still hopeful because we're supposed to make a higher high. So I keep holding on here. Now at this point, this is a bit concerning because again, it got rejected by the midpoint, and also the 382 is holding it as resistance. But I hold on to this trade thinking that it'll play out eventually because we need to make a higher high. Or at the worst, we'll hit this order block of resistance here. So I could either at this point, you know, move up my stop loss here and wait it out, or I just leave at this point. But we need to reach there first. And then I notice it slowly just coming down. So what I do actually is that I make another order at this point. I guess I put it in too early, but what I did was anticipate that it's going to come down all the way because of the way it's moving. So that's my 7th trade of the day. I've gotten in on this one here. And what happened is I noticed this at one point, that we're making a downward movement from this as it bounced off this and got rejected here. So what I'm actually waiting for is for this to touch down here and then go and hit this line again. And then at that point, I will move the stop loss up for both of these trades to about this red line here. So it happened. I hit this point, and once I hit this point, I move my stop loss here, and I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, we break through the 382. This line is just something I'm imagining, and we keep going further. But just in case this line does mean something, I'm going to keep my stop loss here, just to make sure that if things go the wrong way, I've made something. And I get stopped out. So at this point, I'm thinking that it's a triangle, right? Like we're getting squeezed here, and then we should shoot up. So I make this position, and I wait to get in. I get in, and I'm around break even. And I'm starting to get a little nervous about this trade because it's just not going up. As you can see here, we're just not going up. So what I actually did was I put an order to stop this trade at break even. Luckily at this point, before hitting the stop loss, it did go and hit break even. And then, yeah. So there was a chance to make a little bit of money as it did hit the top of this line again and got rejected, but at this point I was better off just getting out of this trade. It was a really bad idea. When you have a triangle like this, getting in on a position without a confirmation is never a good idea. So I got lucky, we hit break even once before it went down and completely crashed. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out what the bottom line was for today. So my opening balance for the day was $105,255.71. My first trade of the day was AUDUSD, in which I made a profit of $1,107. My second trade of the day was NZDCAD, in which I made a loss of $412.19. My third trade of the day was GBPUSD, in which I made a loss of $1,044.00. My fourth trade of the day was GBPUSD, in which I made $34.80. My fifth trade of the day was also GBPUSD, in which I made a profit of $87. My sixth trade of the day was NZDCAD, in which I made a profit of $350.20. My seventh trade of the day was AUDUSD, in which I made a profit of $833. And my last trade of the day was also AUDUSD, in which I made $10.40. And as for commission, it cost $258.30, leaving me with a final profit of $707.91. And the closing balance for the day is $105,963.08. This concludes the first week of the FTMO challenge. Saturday and Sundays are off, so I will not be taking any more trades, and I will be back on Monday to start trading again. Although today ended in profit, it was not a good day in my opinion, because there were many things I could have done to avoid losses and also to further my profits. However, having ended the week with a profit of $6,000 is pretty good, and I'm pretty positive that I will finish the challenge soon and get funded. That's it from me for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up would be appreciated, and also please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.